So was that a laying down of the gauntlet? Was it really? Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into hockey and or baseball. I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates in the same place that you found this. Mike Tomlin, at his Tuesday press conference, was asked about Kenny Pickett. And rather than attempting to paraphrase it for you, I'm going to play the entire response.
Certainly. Man, we're going to need more, particularly as this road narrows. But guys like Kenny and myself, man, we're measured by wins and losses. He and I talk about that often and openly. We know what our jobs are. Our jobs are to win. And so that's where we are. That's where our focus is. I love the fact that he embraces that. Down in and down out are there some things to work on, certainly. But it's not like we're going to start on Wednesday working on those things. We've been working on those things, and we will continue until we get the desired result.
Yeah, you want to talk about something that's going to be dissected again and again and again all week long, maybe even further into the future. We're going to need more from Pickett. Going to need more. Okay, future tense. You can couch it whichever way you want. But the fact is, and I do mean fact, it's the first time that Tomlin has spoken anything of the kind, or anything for that matter that's even remotely negative about Pickett. When he starts trying to throw in little terms like both he and I understand that this is about winning, when he throws in, this is a conversation that we've had many times and this work has been ongoing. Look, it's open to interpretation, all right? And I'm going to give it my own shot here, and you're free to do yours. Mine isn't definitive by any stretch. I get the sense that there's a mounting frustration, that there's a mounting sense of, listen, this is okay, what we're doing. And I did tell you that it was all right if we were winning. But you know what? That other part where you're allowed to be a good quarterback and everything, that would be all right too. Because as almost everyone, everywhere, is acknowledging, the way these Steelers have gotten to 6-3 is not sustainable. There's not a debate to be had there. There's not even a friendly discussion to be had there. No team ever in NFL history has been outgained in all 9 games of a regular season and had a winning record, much less 6-3. And now you're heading into AFC North territory with back-to-back games in Ohio, and you think you're just going to be able to slog your way through it? No. Something better is going to have to happen. And something better is absolutely going to have to happen at the most important position. It's one thing to, in my case, cover these games, in any case, to watch these games and say, look, they pulled it off, and you're in the moment. And you might, because you're in the moment, say to yourself, well, there was that one play that Kenny made in a very timely fashion, and you'll circle that and you'll feel good about it, and you'll say, see, right, that's there, and that's just coming. But when it doesn't come on any consistent basis, when it seems to be playing out the same way Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, something's going to have to change. And it's also human nature, especially if it's accurate, to focus just as much, if not more, on the offensive coordinator. But aren't we kind of getting past that? Like, when you see the footage of some of these plays that could have happened but didn't happen, which you will never notice when seeing the game live, it's a very different feel. Kenny missed open guys. Now, I know they don't do many routes across the middle, but he missed open guys. When I say he missed them, I don't mean he missed it by throwing them. I mean, he didn't even see them. You know, the one that's kind of making the rounds right now virally on social media is of Deontay Johnson busting down the left sideline. And I mean, he's open right away. He's open almost from the snap. It's the easiest 6 points a quarterback could ever put up. Kenny doesn't even consider him. You can see that through his body language. He checks down almost immediately to Jaylen Warren for a nothing gain. That's not the coordinator. A lot of this is. I'm not taking anything off of Canada, and I'm certainly not taking back my broader sentiment that he's not even an NFL coordinator. But we're running out of places for Kenny to run and hide. Who were the stars of the game this past weekend? Who were they? Yeah, it was the running backs and the offensive line, but in unison, together, not separate. Those offensive linemen, they kind of did okay with pass blocking too, but what can you do if you're blocking someone and your quarterback decides to scramble somewhere behind you and even you don't know where he's going? What are you blocking? In which direction are you blocking them? There's a lot to process here, not least of which is the future of the franchise. Because if Kenny isn't your guy, then, well, you've got some real problems now. Not just for this season, but for the next 2 or 3. So yeah, what Tomlin said yesterday was probably painful for Pickett to absorb, but it was dead on. He actually does have to be better. And he has to be better beginning like now. Beginning Sunday in Cleveland. When we come back, J1Q.
This segment of Daily Shot is brought to you by our good friends at Mike's Beer Bar. They're located on Federal Street, directly across from PNC Park. Mike has more than 500 beers on tap, including from more than 50 local breweries. Stop in and say hello. Tell Mike we sent you. Mike's Beer Bar.
Today's J1Q comes from Dana, who says, DK, is it just me, or is everything you're saying something that should be coming from the lips of the quarterback's coach? Kenny Pickett appears to be living in his fears, and it's the job of his positional coach to teach him how not to do that. Isn't it? Well, yeah, Dana, it is. It's Mike Sullivan's job to do that. And I don't know if I'm going to be the first one telling you this or not, because I don't really track what other reporters or what other commentators or whatever are saying. But there's a strong sentiment within the Steelers that Sullivan isn't the guy either. And when I say either, I'm including Matt Canada. Sullivan is Pickett's positional coach. He's been Pickett's positional coach since he entered the league, and he's not getting results. The truth is, because the quarterback's coach is, for some strange reason, not really a high-profile position in the public's mind, we'll almost always skip right past them and go to the coordinator. Sullivan's kind of gotten off free here, meaning from the fan base, I think. Whereas if it was, let's say, the offensive line coach or secondary coach, they would be targeted a lot more often. Am I right here? And I can tell you that that's not the case on the inside. I can tell you that there's also at least a thinking, and this is far from confirmed. I'm not reporting it. I'm not making it out to be some big, cold, hard fact. But there's also a thinking that this is part of why Canada wanted to go to the sideline, or why Canada was told to go to the sideline. Either way, if Canada's principal purpose for going to the sideline was so that he could be in more direct communication with Pickett, okay, because there was already somebody who was supposed to be doing that. But if you have your quarterback struggling on the field, you have the quarterback come off after a possession, and the person who's communicating with him is someone who's not doing a great job, and the coordinator sitting up there in the booth, really not capable of doing much other than saying, hey, put him on the headset here, which isn't the same thing. All kinds of other noise going on. Yeah. So yeah, that's my answer to you, Dana. It's yeah. And that's as much as I have. I'm not holding anything back. Sometimes I do that because, I've been trusted with some information on background and I'm not supposed to share it. That's not what this is. This is something that's being pretty commonly bantered back and forth inside that building. So there's a lot of different ways, as I'm always telling you guys, to look at even a singular problem, even a singular player, and say what's going wrong or what went wrong or what might go wrong. Lots of different hands are in this process. And sometimes it can only take one to mess it all up. And even when it does get messed up, you don't know who it was or how it happened. I appreciate the question, Dana. It's a really good one. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers, and we're going to do another one of these tomorrow.